Co-living, living alone. Living in a one-bedroom apartment, co-living. That's what we're going to talk about today. Hey guys, so I have chose a life of co-living. You probably think, if you know my age, or at least you kind of guesstimate my age, and people say, yo, big old age, you still got housemates or roommates. No, I don't have roommates. I have people who are co-living with me. Co-living, the definition is that you're sharing your living space with others. The difference between co-living and having roommates is you normally get one lease and you have to pay for that lease, the amount of money. Say if it was 1,000 or 15 or 2,000, each person would have to pay their share. Depends on the number of people in that place. So if it's $500 for 4 people, $2,000 a month, then that's what you would pay. But here's the deal. Co-living spaces, you don't do it that way. They charge you by the room. You share your living space of your living room. You share your kitchen. You share your washer and dryer. Yes, some people don't have laundries, but this one does have a laundry. We have our own washer and dryer inside the apartment. You have your own balcony. My housemates or my co-living persons live downstairs. We have a townhome that's split. Upstairs, there's 2 rooms downstairs and a bathroom they share. They have a balcony they share. They're like besties. So with me, I came in with the space thinking, okay, I'm open to whomever is going to live here. The only thing that I told my apartment complex or the leasing agents were, please make sure, and I wrote it on my little description, those who like to stay clean and keep things clean, and also those who don't party all night. I could not handle that. I am a grown up, and I'm not saying you can't, grown ups don't party and hang out. I just am in a different phase in my life. So a co-living, for me, I enjoy being around people. I don't enjoy going home to an empty home. Excuse me. And maybe because I'm a true crime junkie, but no, seriously. I guess because I grew up with people always being in my home. I never really was alone. I have moments when no one's here at the house and, it's chill. And even when I had, went from, my grandparents' home who helped raise me to going off to college with having roommates. I've always had roommates. I've never had an apartment where it's just me. I've always had roommates. And then after that, of course, I found my, at that time, my college sweetheart and I, later on, we found a place and we, have a child, we get married, all the good things. So I go from this to roommate, from my grandparents to roommates, from roommates to my fiance, to marriage, to after the divorce, of course, I had my children around. Then after that, I was hanging out or staying with other folks. It was a transition time for me as time has progressed when I left my full-time career back in 2013. I would just say I was going through some type of transition in my, was it 2013? I'm sorry, y'all, 2000. God, has it been? I'm getting mixed up. 2003. No, sorry, y'all. 2013. That's right. 2013. Yeah. I think that's right. Anyway, it don't even matter. 2010, 2013. I can't remember, and it doesn't even matter right now. I'm just trying to think. I've been here in Tampa since 2013. I left and I came back in 2014. So I've been here a little over what's the day? 2014, 15, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and 20, about 10 years. And I did live back and forth a couple of times, but for the most part. And so with that, I started learning about co-living from a friend of mine who and I were in a multi-level marketing business. And he was like, hey, I heard about these apartments for students. And I live in a college city, actually 2 colleges. I live in 2 major colleges are right near each other. Well, they're about 30 minutes apart, 20 minutes at the most. Then we have another college in another part of the area. Actually, I live in about 4 or 5 colleges around me. Some are private and some are not. But the state-supported one, I live literally right across the street. And they have what we call student housing. Although they cannot only lease to students, that's like their focus, right? But they are leased to anyone who can afford to pay the rent. So with that said, they do background checks, they do all the things. I decided from our conversation with he and I years ago, I could do this co-living, and I did. So the first place I got, I'm trying to think right offhand. It was pretty decent. It wasn't bad at all. I think the rooms to me were too close together. It was a beautiful, beautiful apartment, a beautiful landscaped, had a screen-in porch. I just believe, to me personally, it was a little too close to each other as far as how it was set up. But when I did do co-living, I do remember that was one of the things I didn't like about that particular place. So I didn't release that place. I didn't go and get a new lease because the way it was situated and the way the people were beautiful. I had one housemate. She was okay, but the gentleman that I ended up having the most fun with, in the sense of just laid backness, was an Indian guy who was studying medical. He was literally becoming a doctor. He would cook every day, pretty much, and rode his bike. And he always offered food to me. Always, just beautiful spirit. Like I said, I had a couple other ones that were there. It was a different situation, and they ended up eventually moving out or whatever. So I said all that to say that was one co-living space that it wasn't bad, but I would have liked to be a little different because, one, I had a grandson and I would bring him, and it seemed like, one of the persons at the co-living space, it was like, she was cool, but just a different vibe. So anyway, I ended up I did when I first moved to my area. I did live in an apartment with my daughter before she moved out or whatever. So I did live with my daughter. Well, she lived with me, and then I helped her, and she got her own place with her boyfriend. So I would say that was a time I was by myself, and it was okay. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't really care for it. I guess because I enjoy camaraderie, I enjoy family, and even here in this shared housing space, shared living, we don't hang out. They're younger. They have their own life. I have mine. We do speak. We do check on one another. We do talk. We engage in conversations. However, we don't, have to be up on each other. So they're downstairs, and they pretty much stay there unless they're going to do the kitchen or washing clothes. But they don't come up and sit in the living room and talk or whatever. And that's cool. They made their own space downstairs. Awesome. We live in a renovated apartment, which these are older apartments, but they renovate them. So we have some of the upgrades throughout the apartment. But it's an older apartment. It's not the new apartments. And the area I live in has tons of student housing. And if you're okay with sharing, then this will be a perfect setup, no matter what your age is, as long as you don't come in, I guess, trying to make rules with young people, and most people are young. I've had a shared living space with a group of women who were working. They were younger than I, but they weren't really, really young. They definitely worked. I think one did like the gig economy, Uber and all that, and the other one worked in a call center, and I think she was supposed to be in school. I can't remember going to college. I think she stopped, but she was in college. Then my next room, I call living. I had to move from one place because the lady who ended up moving in with us, first of all, she had a lot of stuff, lots of stuff, and she had a son. He's a little younger, and then she had cats that we didn't know about. They came out at night. We found out later. But I said all that. She was a sweetheart, but just the whole cat, and she was kind of cluttery and messy. So for me, personally, I couldn't vibe with that. So I ended up leaving, and I got another place within the same community in a shared living, and I moved in. It was great. It was a perfect setup. It was some much more mature women. One was in law school. All three of them were in school. Well, one had stopped school because of she had got ill, but then she didn't go back. So she pretty much was home a lot. And that space was amazing because my grandson could come. We had fun, everything. And we're on the first floor, beautiful living space. We kept it really nice, neat, clean. I know at least pretty much all of us, there's four of us, we kept everything neat. COVID hit, and then one of them went back to, I believe she was in Texas. The other one, who was pretty much to herself a lot, she ended up venturing out, ended up going to England, y'all. It was really weird because she was always in her room. She went through a bout of depression, and then she would talk to me about different things. And I said, you got to live. I'm always telling people, live. And she eventually did live, and she ended up moving out and she was moving to England. I want to say she moved to England because she had to get those big drum things and pack her stuff in and put it on a ship. Excuse me, on a ship. So she was leaving. I thought it was pretty cool. So, and the other lady, not just young, she was younger, she was more mature. She moved back with her husband in Georgia. She was in law school, but of course COVID hit. So I said all that to say, yes, I've done shared housing. I enjoyed it. I cannot complain. I could complain, but I'm not, because it affords me the lifestyle that I would enjoy. And that's for right now. I'm enjoying cruising. I'm enjoying travel, flying out places. I'm enjoying, having monies to do things for my grandson or my children. Although they're grown, as a mother, I still like to do things for them. So with co-living, I feel like, you're sharing a kitchen, you're sharing your laundry area, and you're sharing a living room. My room right now, I will be honest, I am literally purging some stuff in my closet. My room is really nice. I have a full chair where you have an ottoman over here. I'll show you my room tour. Y'all may have seen it. If you go to all my old videos, you'll see my room tour. But I love my room. I have a full bathroom. Now, we don't have a tub in this particular unit that I'm in. I have lived in housing where they had a full tub, and I enjoy that too. I enjoy getting the tub and all the things. Well, guys, guess what? On Amazon, you can order a tub. I think I ordered this one off of Walmart Marketplace, and I ended up ordering a tub. It is a tub that can pop up. It's huge. It takes, you can soak. It's a soaking tub, and it's made out of plastic, and you can break it down. And I have it slid under my bed, and when I want to take a bath in the tub, I pop it open. I get my water. I get my Epsom salt, my bubble bath, all the good things, my candle, music, all the things, and I have that. But yeah, co-living for me is a new thing. Now, I'm sorry, not a new thing. It's new to society now. And I think social media has played it up a lot more. I was talking about co-living. If you go through all my old videos, you hear me talk about co-living from then. So it's not the new. It's just that it's becoming more aware because the economy has changed. And even before I knew the economy was going to shift, I always knew I didn't want to spend a lot of money on an apartment. I just didn't. I think I did it one time with my daughter and I. I've always been a responsible person as far as getting an apartment. I've had one since I was in college. I was in college and I had an apartment. So I had roommate where you had to split the rent and all that. But when co-living and divorce, co-living years later, over 40 plus, it works for me. It works for me. And the funny thing is the person who shared with me about co-living, and I think he had heard it from someone, and he had got his place. It was amazing. And then he got out of it. I don't know why. He actually had more money living in a co-living situation. Then he ventured out and got this apartment, which was way over his head because he did gigs. He did MLM like me. And it probably rocked his world at some point. And he was like, he moved from one apartment to the next. And then lo and behold, he moves back to a certain area that's a little bit more costly. And he moves into an amazing apartment, beautiful apartment, and then loses again. And so I'm thinking to myself, co-living was your answer. If you can't have steady income, you don't know your salary, co-living is your answer. But I know I knew my salary to get in this place. I knew how much I wanted to afford. So this place worked out perfectly for me. I am in it. I enjoy it. We just do different things for the community. They're always doing little stuff to, make us feel encouraged. Sweet treats, VIP, the VIP list for, renewing your lease. I love it because we got our apartment rent went down because we, became renewal on leasing, and I enjoy it. So listen, when I pay my rent to my leasing office. I do not pay my rent. My roommates, if they don't pay their rent, they get evicted. I don't. So I literally could walk in here one day and they don't pay their rent and they put them out, and I may have to get new housemates. But one thing about the leasing office, they're very selective on how they do things. They ask questions before they lease people. And this is my second year at this co-living space. And I did the renewal like in September. So literally, what is that? It's October already. Kind of late. Usually they do it a little earlier. And they already sent out a little thing, say, hey, be on our VIP list for renewals. And I just put myself on there. One, because I'm not sure in another year what I'll be doing. I know for sure I'm going to go back to school. So I definitely want to go get my master's degree and my license. And in between, I do want to start a business. And I'll tell you more about that as we get it together, right? So with that, co-living has worked for me. I will give you a tour in the next couple weeks, not today, because one, I want to get this room in order because I am purging. I'm selling some stuff on Facebook Marketplace, Mercari, whatever. And I'm trying to get rid of some stuff and downsize myself. So before I do that, not to say I got to be perfect, but I just not ready to show you this. There's just piles of clothes everywhere. And I'm trying to go through this stuff. But the overall apartment, I think I've showed, and if you haven't, go to some of my videos when I say house hacking or whatever. That's what I'm talking about, co-living. And you'll see my balcony. You'll see how I decorate. It's like another room. I actually need to put a curtain so it can be more like a outdoor living space. And then I have my living room, which I don't have to share with my housemates because they pretty much stay downstairs, really. They have their own little, I think they have video. They're always having something going on. They invite people over. We have separate doors, so we don't have the same front door. Actually live on the top floor. Well, I'm on the third floor and they're on the second floor, but it's a townhome. It's really neat how they split it. I don't even know how they did it, but they did it. And so we literally have our own spaces. I have my own balcony I can sit out on and chill. I feel great about it because I can literally, come home, and as I shared before, it's not this lonely, drab place by myself. I hear music, or I hear television, or I hear their cat. They're normally here, and if they're not, you kind of know. But yeah, it's someone always here, something always moving. And I love the shared housing, a co-living space. Even the community, it is a lot of young people, but it's mixed in with working class people. I love it because I feel more protected because we're in a gated community. I'm right across the street from a huge university. So when I go walking, I'm going through the campus. I can get to Starbucks. I can get to Publix, which I love Publix. I can get to all these, oh my God, there's so many restaurants nearby where I live. And some of them you can walk and some of them you can bike. I can bike to the grocery store. I can bike to the Dollar General, 7-Eleven, all the little shops like that. And then we have an Ace hardware store right around the corner. So if I need to go get hardware, which I really don't need to, but if I did, it would be right around the corner. My church is less than 10 minutes away. We have a swimming pool here. We have a hot tub. We have a full gym. I don't tend to go to the gym because I have my own weights. And I kind of I just prefer not to be in a gym, I guess because I worked in one so long. But we have a full gym. We have a swimming pool, hot tub. We have lockers. Excuse me, y'all. I got the hiccups. I don't know where that's coming from. We got lockers from Amazon Lockers. So my Amazon locker, they can put my Amazon, my United States Postal stuff, anything that they can put in there where they don't have to bring it over to my home. Although Amazon will come upstairs and drop off stuff, FedEx, but for the most time we got a box and they put it in there. Then they give us an alert. They call us and it's an automation, and then they put an alert on our text message and tell us what our box number, what the code is to get in, and boom, you got your stuff. I think it's like $5 a month for that. We have valet trash, so I don't have to take my trash to the trash dumpster or to the compactor. They actually pick up my trash every single day unless it's a major storm or a holiday. But for the most part, I walk out, put my receptacle outside, and boom, they pick it up. I bring it in. That's how we do it. And so that's it. We have a parking space we have to pay for, a parking decal. You put it on your car so you won't get towed. The parking is decent. I don't have so far to walk. We have an elevator. Like I said, it's an older apartment, but it does have an elevator so we can bring things, our groceries. I have a big wagon. I put my groceries in, or if I'm going to the beach, or my beach there, soon to be camping, so I put my camping gear, go right down the hallway to the elevator, boom, and then I pack my stuff up. So no stair climbing unless I choose to. I pretty much take the stairs every day because I just want to keep my exercise on. So there you have it. Co-living is going to be the new thing as this world is changing. Unless you're married with a child, married with children, married with your husband, a wife or whatever, the co-living would not be a bad thing for you. I do think that it can help a lot of, especially women who are single by themselves, divorced or widowed, because you're not in a place by yourself. You do not have to depend on someone else paying the rent. If they don't pay it, you get in trouble. None of that. That's why I love it the most, because I don't, when I pay mine, this is for me. And if those persons don't pay, they have to speak to the leasing manager. I don't. Okay? So those are the pluses. If you have a child, they do accept people who have children. I have noticed that most time that I see a person with their children, they're normally like, sometimes they're babies, and they may have co-lease from somebody or what have you. But for the most part, I see a lot of students. I see grown folks who don't have children, more mature, and some not as mature, but around that line of, I work, I don't go to school, what have you. And like I said, the co-living space for me keeps my budget lower. I live way below my means, although I have some credit card debt I need to take care of, but it is what it is, right? And I could take care of it. But yeah, you live below your means, because you only should do 30% of your total income. So say, for instance, if you make a certain amount of money, you make $5,000 a month. So 30%, 10, 20, and 30. So 10 is what? 5,000 money is like 500. So you should not go over $1,500 in your rent. 5, 10, 15. Yeah. Shouldn't go over $1,500 in your rent. So I tell people, this is what people get in trouble, because they do try to go way above that, especially when they have a decent position. Even 6 figures, some of these apartments are $3,000 and $4,000. Why would you put all that money in there? Hey, but if you got to do what you got to do, do it. I just think that with the economy the way it is, with all the things that are going on, with people living alone, you don't want to die alone. I tell my friend, one of my fears or biggest things was I didn't want to die alone. I didn't want to be in a place where they don't even know where I'm at. They find my body after it's rotten and it's smelling the whole apartment up. That's when they find me. And I know that sounds gruesome, but I'm just being 100. That's why with shared living, co-living, you're around people. You're around people that kind of see who comes in and out, whatever. And you're not alone, technically. And then, like I said, the environment, it encourages people to be around each other and things of that nature. Because back in the day, of course, you live around family or you live around people. Even when I lived in my house, I knew my neighbors. I definitely knew my neighbors when me and my husband were together. And then my newer home, the last home we got before we got divorced, the neighbors, I did get to know some of them, but it was not the same like my former neighbors my first house, and even in my apartment, in our duplex we lived at. We always knew our neighbors. We kind of get to know everybody. So here's to say, co-living has worked for me. It's definitely something that you may consider if you are alone, or alone, meaning without a spouse, or you're widowed or what have you. Any of those things that you can live in a place with other people without it being a big deal. And like one of my friends said, it's no big deal till it becomes a big deal. That's true. But if you don't know how to communicate, and you don't know how to speak with people, or if you feel this person's not able to communicate in a fair way, that's when you can call on a third party. But for the most part, if you speak to people, communicate, you don't have nothing to worry about. Okay, so that's my co-living story. I'll tell more about co-living. I'll do a little tour a year later after being here and what that means. But with this new economy that's happening, the elections, all the things, y'all, people are moving abroad because they think it's cheaper. Whether they know it's cheaper, it is. I just don't prefer to move abroad. We'll talk about why I don't on another episode. Bye, y'all.